Let's explore the nature of the self. What feels like a simple, unified experience might actually be far more complex than we realize. So, start with this question. Who or what is really making the decisions that guide you through your day? You feel like one person, don't you? Your thoughts seem to come from a single source. Your decisions feel like they're yours, completely under your control. This feeling of being a single, unified you is one of the most basic parts of being human. But what if that feeling isn't quite the whole story? What if it's more of a carefully constructed illusion, a narrative your brain creates to make sense of everything? Okay, to understand this, we have to start with the brain's basic design. Your brain is split into two halves, a left and a right hemisphere, and normally they are built to work together perfectly to function as a single unified system. The thing that makes this unity possible is a structure called the corpus callosum. You can think of it as a massive data cable, a huge bridge of nerve fibers that lets the two halves of your brain talk to each other, constantly ensuring they both share the same reality. But sometimes that very bridge can become a problem. For patients with a very severe form of epilepsy, a seizure starting on one side of the brain can cross that bridge and engulf the other side, becoming completely debilitating. This led to a pretty drastic but often necessary solution. Surgeons would perform what's called a corpus callosotomy, which just means they would surgically cut that bridge. The goal was purely medical: isolate the seizures on one side and save the patient. But the side effect was profound. The two hemispheres could no longer directly communicate. And this is where it gets strange. After recovering from the surgery, these patients seemed completely normal. They could talk, they could carry on with their lives, their personalities, their intelligence. It all seemed totally unchanged. It was as if cutting the brain's main communication highway had no effect at all. But under the controlled conditions of a laboratory, researchers like Roger Sperry discovered something extraordinary. They figured out how to ask questions to each hemisphere separately. Here's a classic example of how they did it. Everything you see in your left field of vision goes to the right side of your brain, and everything on the right goes to the left. So in an experiment, they would flash a picture of, say, a key to the patient's left visual field. That means only the right hemisphere saw it. The researcher would then ask the patient, "What did you see?" And every single time, the patient would say, "Nothing. I didn't see anything." And you have to understand, the patient wasn't lying. Their left hemisphere, which is the part that controls speech, genuinely saw nothing. For the part of them that could talk, the image was never there. But the right hemisphere did see the key. It just couldn't speak. But what it could do was control the patient's left hand. So the researcher would then ask, "With your left hand, please pick up the object you saw from the items in front of you." And without a moment's hesitation, the patient's left hand would reach out and pick up the key. So you have one part of the person saying, "I saw nothing," while another part clearly knows exactly what it saw. This wasn't just some lab trick either. This division showed up in daily life. There were reports of a patient's left hand trying to button up their shirt while their right hand would come right behind it and start unbuttoning it. It's like two different agents with two different intentions in one body. So what happens when the speaking part of the brain, the left hemisphere, sees the body do something it doesn't understand? Well, it makes something up. It creates a story. Researchers call this the interpreter. It's a function that just observes what the body is doing and invents a plausible reason for it, even when it has no clue what the real reason is. It's all about keeping that illusion of control. And that leads to a really difficult conclusion. That feeling we all have of being a single rational self making decisions, it might just be a story, a narrative that one part of our brain constructs after the fact to explain all the things happening underneath the surface. Now, to be very clear, this research doesn't prove that you're two separate people living in one head. The brain is designed to be an integrated system, but it does seriously challenge our idea of what a single self even is. It suggests that consciousness isn't nearly as unified as it feels. So it leaves us with this final, unsettling question. If a single brain, when it's divided, can contain two independent streams of awareness, what precisely is the you that feels like it's making your decisions right now?